Mr. Stoker, I'm obliged to you, and you have been generous enough to me over the last 10 years since we first met. And, as you know, the Harker family have looked after me as if I was their own son. But their son I am not, and I do feel that my presence in the family has brought unexpected challenges. Though they have been kind and caring, enough not to make it an issue for me. Until today. Sir, I'm ready to speak my truth, and my memories going back 10 years are as fresh as if they happened only yesterday when I was but a boy. I would be obliged if you would listen and take note, for this is the first and probably last time I will speak of my journey on the Demeter. For from the day I set foot on that ship I have been troubled. Sir, let me begin. Though we had a meager life, living off land, I was a happy boy. I had never expected to find myself on a sailing ship with a cargo bound for England. I would have gladly swapped places for my younger brothers as they looked on. But it was me that had been chosen. One mouth's too many to feed, and old enough to make my own way. Yes, I have brothers and sisters of my own, Mr. Stoker, long lost to me. I was afraid and saddened to leave my family behind. Despite my sorrow at leaving, I took comfort in knowing my leaving may have given them a chance to survive. I hope it did. I would now have a meal every day, get to see the world beyond the village. Who knows? If things had worked out, I may have returned with enough wages to ensure that life was a little less harsh and Mother needn't worry whether there was enough food for us to survive another winter. I was 12 when I boarded, and small for my age, just a scrap of a boy, really. I saw the world. Perhaps too much of it, sir. For at times, what I saw overwhelmed me, engulfing even my waking days. And I long for silence that not even sleep will bring. When I first stepped aboard, I was a ship's boy, expected to do the cleaning, fetching and carrying, sewing up the nets, to be a good helping hand and keep my opinions to myself. A calm sea greeted ship and crew, and we busied ourselves with loading up cargo, stocking enough provisions for 9 men and 1 reluctant sailing boy. The men checked all was sturdy and that the wooden hull was free from worm and crack. I did what I was told, being quick on my feet. I could jump from one order to the next as the crew called to me to move boxes, grab ropes, and whatever else needed shifting. I was quiet, eager to please, not too cocky, and good at keeping my nose clean. I trusted that God would see us safe through our journey, whatever the dangers of the deep might bring. The Demeter left port on a fresh easterly wind, bursting at the seams with ale. Ship bell ringing our departure, and a ship's cat to ward off the rats stowed below deck. Our cargo, 14 boxes of agricultural experimental soil. And we set sail in the manner of tradition, a prayer for our blessing, and each one of us sprinkling our fingers with holy water before passing it to the next man. A good sail flushed us down the bay and out onto the open sea. I looked across to get a last view of my homeland before it vanished completely across the wide horizon. My heart sad at the thought that I would not see my family's faces ever again. On the second day of sail, the wind veered from east to west and blew a gale for 2 whole days. I suffered terrible seasickness, much to the annoyance and amusement of my crewmates. So much so that I could barely stand to carry out the duties I was given without spewing my guts. The rancid stench of the whale oil, the damp soil, and the sea made the sickness worse, dampening my admiration of seeing the ship riding the waters so easily. The captain, from time to time, looked over his glasses at my pathetic, pale features and shook his head. I wondered if I was the wrong boy for this life, and they might drop me off at the first port. Or worse. As we crossed through Istanbul, loneliness took hold of me, and in my weakened state, I'd started to dread the vermin scratching below and the unfamiliar creaks and bangs that accompanied us across the vastness. Once the sickness had subsided, I made an effort to join the men on deck, doing as I was told to help the ship steer back into the calm. I couldn't do enough on board, jumping at the chance for extra duties to stop the aching emptiness of not being home and with the people that I loved. I fed the hens, cleaned out the 2 pigs, and refilled the lamps. They tell me there's nothing more unlucky on a ship than to sail with pigs. Them and cats bring about bad omens. At the time, we had no idea what bad omens might befall us. There was an affable peace amongst us at first, each man familiar with his duties, performing them diligently and without much complaint. Considering we were living cheap by jowl, we got on well enough at first, joshing and baiting and scrapping friendly enough. I quickly learned to keep on the good side of all men aboard by staying silent. All was going well. Then Petrovsky, ship's cook, started with a bout of night terrors. A mild-mannered man during the day, he would quietly point out the mother whales and their calves as they swam along the side of the hull.
Come look at this, mother whale and calf. It's beautiful.
Enjoying the spectacle and the conversations arising from the sightings over our evening meal. I remember vividly, all being strangely calm. As we left Constantinople, a thick fog blanketed everything. We could barely see in front of us, and a strange quiet stifled the sea, only punctuated by the rhythm of the fog, whistle blowing at intervals into the muffle. In the quiet of the ship, when the crew had all but the watchmen turned in for the night, the terrors began. Petrovsky woke us from our beds, screaming obscenities and thrashing on his bunk.
Look! We are not alone. Can you not see this? Listen to me. I'm trying to tell you. God, please, please, God protect us here. We are not alone. Do you not see this?
His terror broke the silence.
Get back!
From then, nothing could console him. Convinced there was something aboard and in pursuit of him as he slept. Someone or something occupied his mind. He became sullen and withdrawn, speaking only of a ghastly, pale presence. Conversations with him became strained as the men felt resentful of their much-needed broken sleep. It became so profound that each of the men took turns to watch over him, and when the terror struck, trying without success to break his feral state, during his night attacks, I must confess, I became paralyzed by fear and unable to continue, much to quietening the mayhem.
Get back from me. Get back, I tell you. God. I will kill you in my bare hands. Please help us. I need no more of this. Be with us. Get me off of this ship, please. Keep us safe. Please get me off. Get back. I warn you now.
Though tired from broken sleep, I busied myself more than ever during daylight, emptying urine barrels, cleaning the deck, then quietly singing hymns to myself to drive away the anguish, fear and loneliness that was consuming me, and I believe, beginning to consume the rest of the crew. Petrovsky's calmness and good nature was no longer abiding. The terrors which took him over at night then extended to daylight also. Though more subdued, he would sit slumped over his sea chest muttering, exhausted and accusatory. An unsubsidizing anger had taken over him, and his thoughts perpetuated into violent outbursts.
Keep the noise down.
You do not understand. We are not alone here.
Petrovsky, no. You need to calm down.
None of us spared from his fury. After 2 days, the captain ordered that Petrovsky would be confined to below deck, and his malady was overpowering. Olgarin, the ship's carpenter and sailman, was consigned to keep watch over him on account of Petrovsky becoming so enraged and delusional that the captain feared for all our safety. Olgarin was the strongest of all the men aboard and never one to shy away from conflict. But as the days passed, it became clear that Petrovsky was capable of being the stronger man with mind over matter. We had crossed the Aegean and were moving out towards Cape Matapan towards Greece. My evenings were spent seeking what comfort I could find in my Bible. Though not able to read, I had memorized sections that Mother had read out to me, trying to drown out the sound of Petrovsky and Olgarin below, thundering through the ship's hold.
Sake, keep the noise down.
You do not understand.
Not
Not
this
alone
again.
here.
Petrovsky, no, don't. You need to calm down.
Then, suddenly quiet, for the first night after countless nights of constant raging. I retreated with the captain to his quarters, where he could retire in the knowledge that I was safe from Petrovsky and the growing fear that was unsettling the crew and making them unpredictable. The captain cautioned me about the change in everyone's temperament, as if no man quite knew what was happening and our emotions were a mixture of confusion and fear. Despite this foreboding, we slept soundly that night, believing Petrovsky to be over the worst of his fevers, unaware of what had unfolded below. His account fluctuated with Olgarin's mood, initially recounting that Petrovsky had possibly overwhelmed him in a physical attack. Olgarin described a super strength having overtaken Petrovsky when he had loosened his irons to give him water. Petrovsky had complained that the irons were too tight and causing his wrists and ankles to burn. Afraid of infection starting, Olgarin loosened the irons, and at that moment a strength seized Petrovsky. He attacked him, overpowering Olgarin. He knocked him to the ground, spitting, shrieking and attempting to sever his windpipe with a combination of fists, head and teeth. One of the crew said that's where Olgarin had gone wrong, being too soft in agreeing to loosen Petrovsky's irons. He soon closed his mouth when Olgarin shot him a look which made us all look to the ground. Olgarin continued with his tale, as he told in his defense how he had knocked Petrovsky to the hold, where he hit his head on the boards and after a few moments succumbed to his death.